What's going on, fellas? Today I want to talk to you guys how you can make six figures at any age. Now, I know back in the day when we used to hear six figures and making six figures, it was like equivalent to a millionaire. But nowadays with technology, AI, and different resources and tools that we have, making six figures isn't too far-fetched. Now, I do want to make this clear. I'm not saying this from a place of theory. I'm not saying this because I read some quote online. I'm actually speaking from experience, fellas. For me personally, it clicked around 2021. That's when reality started to settle in for me. Inflation was going up. Everything in the US was getting more expensive. Rent, food, gas, just life in general. Like, inflation was crazy. And that year is when I realized, like, if I wanted to live comfortably, if I wanted options, if I wanted respect, if I wanted freedom, then I couldn't be average. I had to be a 1% man. But here's the part that most men miss. You can't have 1% man money with average man habits. I knew if I was gonna be him, right? If I was gonna make him tier money, then I couldn't have lazy habits. I knew I couldn't be him if I was indulging in alcohol, weed, women, partying, and dopamine, and letting all that stuff control my life. If I was letting that stuff control my life, I knew I would never be him. I knew if I wanted to obtain six figures, I had to have six-figure discipline, six-figure focus, six-figure work ethic, and a six-figure skill. I remember around that time, and I'm gonna go back and find it, and I'm gonna post a screenshot here. I remember around that time, I posted on my Instagram story. I said I was gonna be making six figures by 2021. But understand this, fellas, I'm not sitting here saying that it's easy, but I'm gonna tell you that it definitely did not happen by accident. It happened because I made the decision. I got tired of being broke. I got tired of living in my mom's house. I got tired of driving my mom's car. I got tired of not having money to invest in my future. I got tired of having to not go on trips with my boys because I couldn't afford the flight. I tell you guys all the time about the story where, the first time that I felt embarrassed financially is when I was at Walmart and my card declined, telling me that I had negative $10 in my account. I told you guys when the opportunity that I had of a lifetime to change my life, it was time to invest and I didn't have the money to. All these experiences, fellas, that's when I knew that something needed to change. Honestly, when it comes to money, y'all, it doesn't matter what age you are. We got 16, 17, 18-year-olds that are millionaires, and then we got 50, 60-year-olds that are broke. It really doesn't matter how old you are nowadays when it comes to that green paper. I just remember a point in my life where I was just distracted with alcohol, women, I was lazy, I was too comfortable, I was feeding into my dopamine, I was trying to fit in and impress women, I was trying to look successful before I even became successful. So I'm gonna tell you guys exactly what I did in order to take my life to the next level, which landed me six-figure opportunity. So I'm gonna break this down step by step. First thing first, avoid marijuana. Stop the weed. If you smoke it right now, put it out, throw it away, flush it down the toilet. No weed whatsoever. Am I saying if you smoke weed, you're never gonna be successful? No, I'm not saying that. There are successful people who smoke weed. For sure, there are. And I knew once I put this on the list that some people were gonna be combative about it and some people were gonna ask a lot of questions about it. But I don't care. Number one is avoid weed. For one, weed makes you lazy. It makes you wanna eat snacks. It makes you wanna lay down. It kills your ambition. It kills your urgency. All that is basically saying it makes you comfortable with being average. And for some people, weed is a gateway to other drugs. Now, for me personally, I'm not a smoker, but I do remember there was a point in my life, maybe about 2-3 weeks, where I did smoke weed. I was in college, I went home for the summer to stay with my ex, and my ex, she smoked. And while I was staying with her, and this is why it's important, this is why your environment is important, because while I was staying with her, I was falling into that habit. She never offered me any weed, like she'll roll it up and stuff like that, but she'll never offer it to me because she knew I didn't smoke. But eventually I did try it, and it made me feel a little weird. Like, my body didn't react to it very well. Like, I became paranoid and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, that summer where I was smoking, that was the most unproductive summer I've ever had in my fucking life. I would smoke, go to sleep most of the day, miss the gym, wake up feeling lazy, just feeling like a bum. I wasn't sharp mentally, I wasn't sharp physically, I just wasn't locked in. And that's when I knew that weed wasn't for me. Because as a man, it's important that you stay sharp. You can't walk around foggy brain, hungry, sleepy, and lazy every day talking about you want to make six figures. Nah, bro, if you want to make six figures, you need to be clear-minded. Step 2, avoid alcohol. Now, alcohol, I could really speak on. because alcohol has actually cost me a lot. Mentally, alcohol feels good at the moment. Yes, you're laughing, you're vibing, you're having fun, you're around other people, you're having a good time. But after the fact, that kills you. That hangover, that memory loss, those bad decisions that you make under the influence, the money you spent on the alcohol, the momentum you lost. The next day, you don't even feel like doing nothing. You don't feel like going to the gym. You don't want to study. You don't want to work on your goals. And if you drink long enough, I promise you, eventually, you're going to start making decisions that's going to come with heavy consequences. For me, fellas, I got a DUI, and that taught me something real. Just because you're doing well in life doesn't mean you can't fall victim to your vices. Your vices still come with a cost, and they come with consequences. My vice with alcohol cost me my freedom. It cost me thousands of dollars on lawyers, stress, embarrassment, all because I was drinking alcohol and made a bad decision that night. And I want y'all to understand something. Some men's situation with alcohol ends up way worse, right? How many stories have we heard where, guys get behind the wheel, they're drunk, they run the red light and T-bone somebody? Or we got some guys that, under the influence, they feel like they're extra aggressive, they want to pick a fight with somebody, and they pick a fight with the wrong person, and the other person unlives them. Some men really ruin their entire life, if not lose their life, all behind a night that they're not going to remember. So when I say avoid alcohol, I'm not saying it because, I'm trying to be perfect. I'm saying it because personally, I know what alcohol can cost you. It'll steal your memory and your momentum. If you want to build, touch, or make six figures, you can't do that restarting every weekend, partying and drinking with people who don't even care about their future, let alone yours. Step number 3, fellas, don't take a woman too seriously before you build yourself up. Now, this one I'm gonna be blunt with, fellas. A lot of men lose themselves behind women. A lot of guys, they get a girlfriend, they start moving different. They stop chasing their goals. They stop going to the gym. They stop studying. They stop building themselves. They start adjusting their entire life to please one woman. I've actually seen guys change the schools that they attend. Their girl going to one college, this guy going to another college, and they leave their college to be with their girl. I've seen guys leave their city to go live with their girlfriend, turn down real opportunities, miss out on life-changing experiences because they scared to lose her. But here's the truth, fellas, there's no equity in relationships. All the good things that you do for her and all the sacrifices that you make for her never is going to guarantee she's going to stay. You can give her attention, you can give her money, you can give her time, you can give her loyalty, support, and she can wake up the next day and feel like she doesn't want to be with you anymore. That's why as a man, you need to build yourself first. I had an ex from high school that I was just telling you guys about that smoked and everything when I stayed with her my summer in college. My ex from high school, she didn't go to college, but I had a scholarship opportunity to go to college. But if I would have forfeited that opportunity to stay home with her and not go, I wouldn't have my degree today. I wouldn't have joined my fraternity. I wouldn't have made the lifelong connections that I've made. I wouldn't have gained the life experiences that I got from school. Fellas, you have to think long term. A woman should never become the center of your life before your purpose is built. Because when you build your life, the women gonna come. But if you sacrifice your life to keep one woman, you might lose that woman and the life that you were supposed to build. So focus on yourself, fellas. Build your body, build your money, build your mind, build your skill set, and build your foundation. I'm not gonna lie, fellas, when I was in my relationships, I probably was in the worst shape of my life. Like physically, I was in the worst shape of my life. But it's like when you're by yourself, you get to focus 100% on what you need to do, building yourself up, and becoming the man that you know you need to be. And when you do that, you choose from a place of abundance. Step number 4, as you should know, go to the gym. The gym isn't just about looking good. The gym teaches you delayed gratification. The gym teaches you discipline. The gym teaches you that you need to do what you need to do regardless of how you feel. Because you're not gonna always feel like going. You're not gonna always feel motivated. Some days you're gonna be tired. Some days you're gonna feel sore. Some days you're not gonna feel like doing nothing. But when you go anyway, you build that mental toughness. And that discipline transfers into the real world. The same discipline that it takes to get under that weight, to do those extra reps, to finish that last set and stay consistent for months, is the same discipline that it takes to study, to work late, to save your money, to build that skill, to change your life. Women are born with value, but men, we're not. We have to build our value. And as a man, the only way that you can build value is through time. repetition, consistency. You need time to become. You need time to develop yourself. That's why, fellas, the first two, weed and alcohol, that's why those are dangerous, because they pull you away from the discipline that you need. They make you comfortable. They make you weak. Step 5, fellas, and I know this may sound cliche, but it just is what it is. Step 5 is work really, really, really hard. And a lot of guys, they're gonna struggle because they can't even get through the first 3 steps that we just spoke about. They can't stop smoking, they can't stop drinking, they can't stop smoking, they can't stop drinking, and they can't stop smoking, they can't stop drinking, and they can't stop chasing women. But once you get past those 3 things, fellas, nothing is really holding you back. And as a man, you gotta understand you can't afford distractions right now. People ask me all the time, how do I build my mindset? How did I build my discipline? And fellas, this came from years from suffering from my vices and learning from them, learning how to control them. This came from going to the gym when I didn't feel like it. This came from door dashing late at night after my 9 to 5. This came from getting fired from my job and still finding ways to make ends meet. This came from going monk mode for months. This came from when I was an athlete my whole life in high school, waking up at 5 a.m., going to the park with my older brother and getting up jump shots before school. Discipline isn't something that you just wake up with, fellas. It's built through repetition, through the pain, through the sacrifices, doing the boring stuff over and over and over again until it becomes who you are, your identity. All right, fellas, so now that we got that out the way on the steps, once you do these, fellas, once you give up the alcohol, the weed, stop chasing women, and begin to work really hard, you need to become very frugal. Live very modest. Stop trying to look rich. Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. No designer, no jewelry, no unnecessary flexing. Don't join that rat race, fellas. You don't need to impress people who don't even care about you for real. These people probably won't even show up to your funeral. The money that you make, use that money to save. Use that money to invest. Use that money to build your future. For me, fellas, when I was in monk mode for months back in Atlanta, to focus and to build the skills to obtain the 6 figures, I sacrificed fun for months. I utilized every minute of my day to build myself. All I did was gym, study, work. That's exactly what my life looked like. And I know you guys are probably wondering what the skill was that made me 6 figures. I became an administrator for Microsoft 365 and began learning about the cloud. I learned how to utilize tech and how to work in IT. I built my experience and I became valuable to the marketplace. My first step was fixing my credit. Since I didn't have the cash to invest in the tech school, when the opportunity came, I had to take out a loan for it, right? That was the first step. I had to go through the program, I had to study every day, I had to go to the classes, and I had to pass the test for my certifications. Now, after I got my certifications, I had like 3-4 jobs, and it took me about like 6-7 months before I landed my first 6-figure job. So yes, fellas, it is possible, but it is going to require some sacrifice. You can't be at every party, right? You can't be with every chick. You can't be outside every weekend. You can't be out spending every dollar that you make. You need a skill, because the world doesn't pay you for what you want. The world pays you for the value that you bring. Now, once you start earning 6 figures, fellas, this is where it gets dangerous, because a lot of men thinking that making 6 figures, that's the finish line. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Making 6 figures is really just the beginning. That's where the test begins. Because the thing is, fellas, once you start making 6 figures, you'll find yourself around a different type of crowd, right? You're gonna be able to get through doors that maybe you wasn't able to get through when you didn't have that type of money. You're gonna have access to more temptation. People are gonna start treating you a little bit different. For me, fellas, my temptations didn't change from before I had 6 figures to after. My temptations didn't change. All they did was amplify. So instead of hanging out with 1 woman a week, I may hang out with 3, 4. Instead of drinking 2 cups of alcohol, now I might get 2 bottles. Instead of going out eating McDonald's, I might go for the lamb chops and steak now. Instead of wearing regular clothes, now I start getting a little designer. If you're not careful, fellas, that 6-figure income can definitely expose your lack of discipline. But then you start getting into like entry-level luxury stuff. You might want to go lease a Benz. Get you a designer belt, iced out watch, Cuban chain, go on a couple trips, pop a couple bottles. And fellas, if you indulge in that stuff, yeah, you make 6 figures, but 6 figures is where you're gonna cap out. Or worse, you could fall right back down. Me personally, fellas, I know somebody personally that made well over 6 figures. They even touched a couple million, and they still ended up broke and having to go back to the lifestyle that they was living before they got any money. Why? Is because they had habits and they had vices that money couldn't fix. All money did was give your bad habits a bigger budget. So the more money you make, fellas, the more disciplined you're gonna have to be. Next thing, don't accrue liabilities that you can't keep up with. Don't take money that you should be saving or investing and use it to lease a Benz truck. Don't take that money that you should be using to build passive income and use it to buy a bust down rollie. The goal isn't to look rich, fellas. The goal is to be financially free. So instead of going out every weekend, taking 100 vacations and buying stuff that you don't need, invest that, fellas. Aggressively save, pay down some debt, buy some assets, look into real estate, build passive income, build a life where your money works for you. Because 6 figures is nice, fellas, but 6 figures isn't the goal. Freedom is the goal. Options is the goal. Being able to take care of your family is the goal. Being able to wake up and move how you want, that's the goal. So to wrap this up, fellas, if you want to be able to obtain 6 figures at any age, here's the formula. Avoid weed, avoid alcohol, stop putting women before your purpose, go to the gym, work really hard, live cheap, learn a skill, save your money, and invest. And when you finally start making some money, don't let the vices that kept you broke bring you back down. Build yourself, stay disciplined, learn a skill, and stop chasing dopamine. Because the life that you want isn't gonna come from comfort. It's gonna come from sacrifice. It's gonna come from discipline. It's gonna come from being a man who can actually handle some money, the women, the attention, the opportunities, and the pressure that comes from success. Fellas, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on all social media. I'm gonna leave that in the description below. And if this video hit you, fellas, don't just watch it. Grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and map out y'all plan right now. Don't just do nothing with this information. Y'all have to apply it. Because at the end of the day, nobody's coming to save you. It's on you to become him. I'm about to wrap this up, fellas, but if you're ready to change your life around, change your mindset, change your finances, change your physique, and get in the trenches with me for 3 or 6 months, click the link in the description below. Book a call and see if you're a good fit. But until then, fellas, I'm gonna holler at y'all tomorrow, and make sure y'all control y'all vices, because it's time to perform.